Good afternoon, everyone. I am Yesraj Soda. Today, I am going to discuss about the virtuous heroine, the Pamela's role in shaping moral norms. Uh, Here is my personal information. Okay. So first of all, the Pamela, or we can say the subtitle "Virtue Rewarded." It was the novel, epistolary novel written by Samuel Richardson. Country England. The language is used English. Generally, we also mentioned epistolary novel, which is the form in the form of letters. The novel is written. It is also the starting form of the novel. So epistolary novel, published as Messrs. Revington and Obscon. Publication year is 1740. Now, what we find in the novel, what type of morality we find in the major character Pamela. First of all, the chastity. Chastity means the person who is not having any physical relationship with other person before marriage. So, chastity in the Pamela, we find that his uh, employer force him to have that type of relation, but she denies and she wants to be the virgin till the marriage. Modesty, we find modesty means which the person has the less respect for herself. He is giving more respect to other person. Modesty, we find she is honest we find towards his employers, and he's like honest girl, and she speaks the truth. And when she talks about to the her parents, she is honest. Whatever he is saying, it is true. Humility, we find she is not giving any touch type of words, or she can't express herself in a big background. So he's humility, we find that. And she is compassionate towards the when we find the Mrs. B is not well, the health is not good. So we find that compassion in the character of Pamela. Faith, we find that in different types of no sorry later he is compass sorry forgive faith in the God. She is reminding God when the different types of difficult situation arises in her life. Forgiveness, we find at the end of the whatever the Mr. B has done to her, still she forgives him and marries with him. Devotion to family, she continuously sending letters what is happening in her life to that the family. This type of morality we find in the play, sorry, in the novel. Now, importance of virtue in the and religion in Richardson's life. This is Samuel Richardson is the writer, as we know, and how he imposed these religious and moral ideas in the novel. In the article, Larry Bellwell said that Samuel Richardson brought Pamela as an example of the value of moral behavior. Believing that in the direct intervention of the Dot, Richardson felt that the virtuous actions led to success on earth as well as in the heaven. As we find that Richardson has that belief that afterlife is there, religious beliefs are there. He believes in certain things, and in Pamela we also find he is a really religion person, and he portrays her character, Pamela's character, in same way. In the second paragraph, you also find my own industry and God's providence of all of my whole reliance in the mind of Samuel Richardson. People had the right to independent action and obligation to the work and God's help towards the end. And towards the end means the God is like making people do whatever they want to do, and they God helps him as a writer. Ensure in the beginning, Richardson says that all the acts that humans do, it is because of the God, and you should one should have the faith in the God. So these are the arguments we find in by the Larry in the article. Now in the original text we also find some of the dialogues, some of the things that Pamela writes in the letter. I never will do anything that shall bring your gray hairs with some sorrow to the grave. I will die 1,000 deaths rather than be dishonest anyway. Writes this letter to his parents that I will not do anything to that will do with the reputation of their parents, her parents. For a robber person, in the virtue is worse than cunning. The thought, it is like the virtue is more important than the life. And the another thing we also find, your rings, sir, your necklace. She is saying that to the Mr. B, that you are giving that much gifts to me, but it doesn't matter. My virtue is my real jewelry. In conclusion, we find that Richardson wants to promote mobility through the novel. He wants to make 18th century more better way. He wants to promote mobility. Title Virtue Rewarded. We find that virtue that is been rewarded. Whatever virtuous person do, in the end, he rewarded by that. One should be virtuous by ancestry and heredity. That would the person's moral values comes through the parents. Though we heredity, we find Richardson wants to make a critique of aristocracy. As we know, Mr. B tries to exploit Pamela in a physical way. So he is also doing that, critiquing the aristocracy. He wants to impose moral lesson to the 18th century. Whatever Richardson believes, he wants to impose that into the 18th century people. He wants to make that well over that morality and ethics should be like that. Richardson portrays his own morals and virtues in the character of Pamela. In the Pamela, we find the same characteristic of Richardson has, and those virtues can't be applied in contemporary world. All the virtues, how Pamela behaves, we can't expect from the person, and person should not do that type of virtuous things in the 21st century. So we also find that. These are the references. You can find the more further information in that. Thank you. That is for from my side. Now you can ask me questions.
Yashwant, my question is, how does Pamela's character exemplify virtuous behavior in the novel?
Okay. How does Pamela's character exemplify virtuous behavior in the novel? We find that virtuous sees now and again whatever Mr. B does to her, but still she is faithful to her parents. So honesty we find, mobility we find in her character, faithful towards a God. That is also the virtue we find. And when she is in the difficult situation, still she doesn't deny the existence of God. She is like really good towards her parents. So these are this type of virtuous quality we find in the Pamela. What Richardson wants to express through the Pamela's character. So these type of things, virtuous behavior, we find in the novel. Next question.
The question is, how does Richardson portray his own moral and virtues in the character of Pamela?
How does Richardson portray his own morals and virtues in the character of Pamela? As the three in the from the article, I have taken three parts. That in Richardson life, when he wrote this novel, he was 52 years old, and during that period of time, he is really religious. And in the different types of writing, he expressed himself what type of religious beliefs he has. So in the Pamela's character, the religion beliefs. So in the this presentation, we also find this characteristic that Richardson is believing that all the actions that humans do, it is because of the God only, and one should be always faithful to the God. So in the Pamela's character, we also find she is faithful to the God, and different types of virtues we also find in the character of Pamela. So we find that different pictures that Richardson wants to portray through the Pamela's character, we also find in the novel, in the letters also, what she writes to her parents and to other person also. Yeah, thank you.